Hey guys, it's Will here. I'm back with another battle report, but this time we've got something a little bit different. Instead of our normal match play games, we're going to do a narrative mission from the Fate of Konor campaign. So if you don't know about the Fate of Konor, firstly, where have you been? But yeah, it's the narrative campaign that GW have got running at the moment all around the world, with a new mission every week representing one of the planets in the Konor system. I've been playing all these missions as they've come along down at 40k Gaming, but not been able to necessarily film them for various reasons. But mission 3 is up tonight, and yeah, we are going to be giving that a go and bat-repping that for you guys. So the idea here is that this planet is what's called an agri-world, so it's essentially a planet-sized farm that feeds the whole of the Konor system. So the food here is kind of vital for, you know, the survival of the entire human population of the Konor system. It's a big deal. And the forces of chaos have unleashed a virus, sort of plague, nurgly type stuff on the planet that's caused the crops to wither and die. Yeah, bad news. But the imperial forces have been able to stop the worst of the effects by loading a lot of the grain and the crops onto these big what's they call them? Sorry, just I've got the details up on the side here. Factory crawlers, which are essentially semi-mobile, incredibly large sort of factory vehicles that will still allow them to grow the crops and store the grain on the move, as it were. And then they've magma bombed the infected fields to stop the spread of the virus, because you know, proportional response. So yeah, with that in mind, obviously the planet was mostly farmland, and now it's basically been levelled. We've gone for a very sparse battlefield for tonight's game, so don't expect to see a lot of terrain, although there's, you know, scattered rocks, bits of Aegis line, but that's about it. And the idea here is that the imperial forces are guarding these convoys of these sort of factory crawler type things, and the forces of chaos are attacking them, and they're looking to break through the imperial defensive cordon and get to the grain haulers. So mission wise, it's hammer and anvil deployment, with the chaos player only having 18 inches and the imperial player having 36 inches. So Chaos are a little bit pushed back, Imperium have a lot of space to deploy in, and the Chaos forces are trying to smash through the Imperial lines and get off the other side of the board, killing as they go. Imperial forces are trying to stop the Chaos forces. And this month, or this week, sort of it has a theme unit. Every week's got a theme unit, and this time it's vehicles. So vehicles are worth bonus points. So it's kill points. You get 1 point for every unit you destroy. If you're Chaos, you get 2 points. You get 1 extra point for every unit you get off the far end of the board, and 2 points if that unit's a vehicle. If you're the Imperial player, you get 1 point for everything you kill, 2 points if you kill something using a vehicle. So vehicles are really where it's at with this. Yeah, should be a pretty good game. My opponent for tonight is Jason. He has been in a couple of vids on the channel before, but he's going to be taking the forces of chaos, but they're not really chaos. The problem was that at the gaming club, 40k Gaming, we've got far too many Imperial players and not enough Chaos players. So for this campaign, Jason has been using his Space Marines, who are a White Scar successor chapter, but have a very weathered, dark, rusted look to them. He's been using them as a Chaos faction because he needed to make the numbers up, and they have a few Chaos components there. They're not, you know, they're Space Marines, they use loyalist rules, but their motives are very questionable. So for this campaign, they've been taking the role of the forces of chaos. I'll be bringing my Salamanders, been using them throughout the campaign and had some pretty good success so far, so hopefully we're going to have another good game with them. Anyway, let's take a look at the armies. So here's the Salamanders force for tonight. I've tried to theme this army around the mission, so the idea is we're supposed to be guarding this convoy of grain harvesters, so it made sense to have a very mechanised army. Starting off, I've got 2 dreadnoughts. Them and the tech marine that's accompanying them are going to be about the slowest things in the army. I've got 2 multi-melters, well, 1 multi-melter on each dreadnought, got storm bolters and power fists. Tech marine is standard loadout with a power axe and a servo harness. Oh, sorry, servo arm. The Terminator unit will be completing a vanguard detachment with those guys. That's 5 Terminators. Sergeant's got the power sword, and there's a heavy flamer in there. The rest of the force is going to be a battalion detachment. So for my HQs, I've got Vulcan Hastan and also a chaplain. Vulcan's going to be my warlord, and he gets the +1 toughness warlord trait and the +1 strength warlord trait. And the chaplain, as my other HQ choice, is going to have the salamander mantle, because Vulcan can't take an item, so we'll have the chaplain have the item. So he's got salamander mantle for +1 toughness. And they've got 3 troops units here, 2 5-man tactical squads, 1 with melter combi melter, 1 with flamer combi flamer, and then a 10-man squad with flamer, combi flamer, and a heavy bolter. Transports for those squads are 2 razorbacks with heavy bolters and storm bolters, and a rhino. Then I've got a land raider for the Terminators. Really looking forward to seeing how this does. I've only ran him once in this edition so far, and that was a very casual game, so be interesting to see how the big old land raider performs. It's the Redeemer variant with obviously the Flamestorm cannons, twin assault cannon, and multi-melter. Should be nasty. I've also brought an apothecary along to see if I can heal up some of my guys, and then to support the army I have a predator, a stalker, and my bikes. So this is my my custom bike squad riding Dark Elf Cold Ones, because I just thought that looked more salamandery than riding a very outdated looking bike model. Got Grav on there, 2 Grav guns and a combi Grav. I've got my standard loadout Stalker and a Predator with the autocannon and the las cannons and Stormbolter. So that is 2,000 points of Salamanders. So here's Jason's army, and although they will be playing the role of the Renegades tonight, they are actually going to be using White Scar chapter tactics from the Space Marine Codex. So down here we've got his Warlord, Captain on a bike with a Thunderhammer, and he's going to be upgraded to a Chapter Master. Then he's got 5 fast attack units, so that will be an Outrider detachment then. Bike squad here with a Grav gun, and an attack bike with a multi-melter. Another bike squad here, there's a power axe on the Sergeant, there's a plasma gun, there's a multi-melter on the attack bike, and another one, we've got some Grav in there, some melter, and another melter attack bike. Attack bike squad down here, 3 bikes with multi-melters, so that's how he's planning to deal with my armour. I think lots of multi-melters. And then here we have another bike squad, Grav gun, and another multi-melter. Finally, to finish off the army, give him some support, he's got a Predator, maxed out with las cannons. And that is 2,000 points of Traitor White Scars. So tonight's mission takes place on the planet of Nethamus, which was an agri-world but is now in quite a nasty state as a result of the Chaos virus bombardment and then an Imperial orbital bombardment. So we've gone for quite sparse terrain here, and as the attacker, Jason has quite a small deployment zone here. So he's pushed back within 18 inches of this table edge, and as you can see he's clustered the majority of his bikes to the middle, but with 1 squad going down each flank and the Predator offering fire support. His Warlord is right in there, and the attack bike squadron is there. I could have deployed up to this far forward, but chose not to, because I want an extra turn of shooting before these White Scars engage me in combat. So I've hung back, particularly with my artillery vehicles, or not artillery, you know, my long-range shooting. The Stalker is a little bit disappointed at the lack of flyers to shoot down, but you know, those autocannons should do something. And the Predator, has deployed so that they will come to me. I've deliberately gone out of range of his predator, so he's going to have to move forward with that, which he'll probably do, and then he'll come straight into my gun sights. Clustered most of my armoured infantry in the middle there, with the chaplain and apothecary riding with the terminators, and Vulcan riding with his tactical squad. Tech Marine is the only model I've deployed as infantry on foot, and he's hanging out with the 2 dreadnoughts hoping to repair them, and the bike's behind this rock as a counter-attack. Anyway, the way the mission works, the forces of chaos have to, or that aren't really chaos but blatantly are going to have to try and seize the attackers, so they have to get off the far board edge and break my blockade. They should get to go first, but I've got a chance to seize the initiative. Nope, initiative not stolen. Here we go with the Traitors' first turn. So Jason started his turn by basically doing exactly what you'd expect to do with a mission and pushing the whole army forward. So everything's just surged forward. Even the Predator moved up a little bit, used a stratagem, allowed him to advance it and shoot with it at full ballistic skill. And that went for my Land Raider. One of the 4 shots missed. 2 of them failed to wound, which was a little bit unlucky, to be honest. And then the one that did wound was saved on a 6. That story was repeated when the multi-melters from the attack bikes fired at it. 1 wound, saved on a 6. I was really jammy with the Land Raider saves this turn. The bike squad over on the far side did manage to put a wound onto that Rhino, and the Razorback took 4 wounds from this bike squad, who were backed up by his chapter master's rerolls. And finally this bike squad had the best success of the turn, completely wiping out that dreadnought. Got a direct hit with a multi-melter that took off 6 hull points, and then it was a simple job for the bolters to finish it. That's leaving the Tech Marine a little bit exposed, but I've still got a good chunk of my army there. It's only 1 dreadnought and the Land Raider is unharmed. So here we go with Space Marine turn 1. So a slow advance forward for the Salamanders here. We didn't really need to get too far forward, but I did want to push my Land Raider up to get the Flamestorm cannons into range. This tactical squad disembarked their Rhino and got out into the cover. The Rhino then swiveled off to block the escape route down the flank there, and the 1 surviving dreadnought pushed forward with the Tech Marine behind him, although the Tech Marine is kind of now stuck out on his own now. And the bikes came out here looking to get into position to launch a counter-attack next turn. Shooting phase was somewhat brutal actually. The Land Raider and the Predator targeted that bike squad in the middle, reduced them down to just 1 bike and an attack bike. The Razorback killed the last bike, and then I was hoping that the Stalker would finish off the attack bike, but had some pretty poor rolls to hit and the attack bike survived. Other than that, the Dreadnought and this Razorback fired into that bike squad, killed 1 of them I think, and this tactical squad fired at the bikes and only killed 1 of them. So yeah, nice amount of shooting there. That attack bike in the middle was destined to fail its morale check. It literally couldn't do anything, so it ran off. Oh, and the Drake Riders managed to put a wound onto those attack bikes. Dreadnought then charged into combat over here, killed 3 bikes outright for 2 wounds in return, plus 1 taken on Overwatch. And then they lost another 1 to morale. Despite re-rolling, they still lost a dude. So pretty good first turn for the Salamanders there. We've got the centre of his army kind of run away, some other casualties elsewhere, and we're in position. But there's still a lot of bikes, a lot of firepower here. So let's see what they can do on Chaos, that aren't really Chaos, but obviously are Chaos. Turn 2. So Jason continued to push on this turn. Bikes coming round to encircle the Land Raider, and the attack bike coming around the other side. This squad fell back from combat with the Dreadnought, and this guy here, the Chapter Master, went up towards the Dreadnought. These guys moved in to outflank over there, or not to outflank, you know, to get around my tactical squad. Shooting was once again less than effective. He killed a couple of tactical marines, put about 3 wounds onto the Land Raider. Most of the shooting went for the Land Raider, that as well as being a serious piece of kit, has been really lucky with its saves this turn. I've made about 3 or 4 6-up saves on that from melter weapons, so yeah, that's not tactics, that's just pure luck. Used White Scar chapter tactics to pull off a charge here into the Tech Marine, and unfortunately had a pretty poor roll to hit, only did a single wound, but I did nothing in return. Chapter Master fared a lot better, smashing the Dreadnought with his Thunderhammer, finishing that off. And over here, these bikes actually did more to the Land Raider in combat than they did from shooting, although they lost one guy on the way in from the frag assault launchers. They managed to put another 3 wounds on it. The attack bikes didn't fare so well though. Their charge was before the bikes and they ate flamestorm cannons down to a single guy. And over here, this bike squad encircled the tactical squad and killed 5 of them, and another 4 fled. So yeah, he's certainly doing some damage, but you know, his bikes are now tied up in combat, and they still need to get over here, and I've still got Terminators to disembark. So here we go with Salamander, turn 2. So we just realised that Jason forgot to fire his Predator this turn. Now, because I'm a good sport, well, at least I like to think I am, I let him have a shot at it, and he chose to shoot this Razorback and managed to wreck it in 1 volley of laser fire. So that Razorback is now gone. So Vulcan's squad from there will be getting out. Oh no, it's not Vulcan in there. Vulcan's in that one. The the tactical squad in there will be getting out. It didn't explode, so they'll be okay. And yeah, we will be going on to the next turn. So the plan this turn was to counter-attack, and counter-attack hard. So had to do a little bit of retreating first to pull that off. The Terminator squad disembarked from the Land Raider along with the Apothecary and Chaplain, and then the Land Raider proceeded to back up to give them room to charge in and to shoot the bikes. My bikes had moved up before that, ready to take on these guys over here, and the Tech Marine and the Tactical Squad, last survivor over there, both fled combat. That opened up some good lines of shooting, so the Predator and the Razorback, plus these guys that had disembarked, Vulcan and the Tactical Squad, opened up on this squad, killed just 1 of them, a pretty poor turn of shooting actually, and the Terminators killed a couple of guys from in this squad. Over here, fire from the Tactical Squad, Rhino and Bike Squad was surprisingly ineffective, just killed like 1 guy from there. It was not the greatest turn for shooting, but I managed to get off some charges. Vulcan and the Tactical Squad both made it into here and killed 1 dude for 1 casualty in return, and the Terminators smashed in here, killed another couple of bikes, but they held, and the Chaplain charged the surviving attack bike and killed it. So yeah, not too bad a turn, but there are still too many bike squads on the table. Although they're all depleted, there are still 3 complete bike squads and the captain, all of which could threaten to get off the board and score in points. But we shall just have to wait and see if they can do that. Here we go with Chaos, turn 3. So the White Scars, who are not really White Scars, pushed forward this turn, again trying to make a break for the line. So there was a lot of units advancing. So these guys advanced, got down to here. These guys didn't advance, but were able to get a long way forward with the charge they pulled off on the Stalker. And these guys, who had previously been in the middle there, I think they'd been the ones who were engaged with the Terminators, fell back from the combat with the Terminators, and instead charged the charged my own bike squad. Chapter Master carried on up the table. Now he was the big story of the turn, charging into the Razorback and wrecked that in combat. And these guys, did really well. They multi-melted the Rhino, killed the Tactical Squad with shooting, and then charged into the Stalker. So yeah, really good. The only problem they suffered was they lost a dude in combat to the Stalker. Yes, they actually lost a dude in combat to a Stalker. It's not good. But we've got these guys pushing really far up the table, looking to make a break from it next turn. We've got these guys pinning down my my bikes, but the Chapter Master may have wiped out that Razorback. But now where he is right in the centre there, he is going to face a lot of retribution. Oh, and the Predator. The Predator finally showing its worth, putting another 6 hull points onto the Land Raider, leaving it with just 4 left. Luckily my Tech Marine's still alive, so I might get a chance to fix some of those, but the Land Raider is in a bad state. Here we go with Salamanders, turn 3. So with the White Scars breaking from my table edge, I really had to do something this turn to stop them. So I backed up the Stalker to get these guys unengaged, and I also backed up the Land Raider to bring its Flamestorm cannons just in range of the squad that was running away. And then encircled his Chapter Master with these guys and brought the Chaplain over here to threaten those bikes. Shooting phase saw the Predator take out 3 of that squad, very effective there, and the Land Raider Redeemer finish off this squad here as well, despite only having 4 wounds left and being down to 5 up to hit. Flamestorm cannons are still lethally effective, especially when you're standing next to Vulcan. In the assault phase, I charged into his Chapter Master, wiped him out with the Terminators, and the Chaplain killed a couple of bikes over here, but they passed their leadership test. So things are going well. I've only got 5 enemy models left to deal with now, but I don't think it's quite over yet if he gets these units off the board. Anyway, let's see if Jason can still pull this back. So Jason's 4th turn was very swift. One of the units of bikes fled, scoring him a victory point. The other one is almost there as well, although they've got to run the gauntlet of the Stalker and the Predator before they can actually escape. His Predator carried on its great run of form and wrecked my Land Raider. Thankfully it didn't explode, but my Land Raider is gone. So yeah, nice one Jason, you've taken my Raider down. Now, as we head into the 4th Salamander turn, can I finish these traitors off and claim a nice victory for the Imperium here? So, final turn, I was able to deal with those bikes using the Predator, really getting rid of Jason's chance to get any more units escaped. And I pushed my bikes up to threaten his Predator. Also shot at them with the Stalker, but only did a total of 2 hull points damage to the Predator, sorry, 2 wounds. All of these bikes over here are already dead. So yeah, Jason has but a single Predator on the board, and I am rather up on kill points here. So we are going to call that a game. Good game, mate. No worries, thanks a lot. I'll see you guys in a minute for the post-game. And there we go, a glorious victory for the Salamanders and the Imperium. The factory crawlers are saved, the forces of chaos have been driven back, and Nethamus will continue to be able to produce food for the Konor sector. So yay, food! We like food and we like victory. I think we had a good game and Jason put up a good fight, but in hindsight I think he'd have been better off going for more of a tank-heavy army, particularly rhinos, razorbacks, etc., rather than bikes. Although bikes seemed good on paper because they're very fast, can be used very aggressively. I think vehicles to protect his troops coming forward, and then, you know, vehicles can run off the table and score 2 points each while the troops sort of, you know, tie me up in combat and do the damage. But hey, you know, everyone has perfect 20/20 hindsight, and you know, it's still made for a fun game, and certainly quite a nice cinematic appearance with my vehicles guarding the convoy and all his bikes rushing forward towards me. So yeah, I think the Konor missions are good fun. I will admit they can be a little imbalanced at some times. I know quite a few Chaos players, or people on the non-Imperial side in general, have been saying this one felt very stacked in the favour of the Imperium. I wouldn't say very, I think there were ways that it could be made to work for the Chaos forces. But, you know, I understand that, yeah, there was a certain amount of favour to the Imperium in this one, but that's sometimes the way with narrative missions. You know, they're not meant to be perfectly balanced. They're meant to represent a scenario in the war. And in the ongoing war for Konor, things seem to be looking good for the Imperium right now. But that being said, it's still all to play for here. You know, they're only 3 weeks in. There's still time for the Forces of Chaos to pull it back. And I think if you guys enjoyed watching this Batrep and perhaps want to give these missions a go yourself, I think they're good fun if you're into the more narrative side of things. So get yourselves down to your local gaming club or your local GW store. You know, play your games, represent your faction, and yeah, contribute to the ongoing story. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Batrep, and thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.